What's up, everybody? Dead Girl here. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are all having a fantastic week. It's the middle of the week, and you know it's that time. It's time for our weekly show. Tonight we have a very special guest on. We have on Paul Lanner. He is with Haunters Against Hate. So without further ado, let's bring him on. Round of applause.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing this evening?
Fine, thank you. Still coming down from the trip from New York City last week.
Oh, I can imagine. It's a fun place to venture, that's for sure.
Oh, it was great, and it's home for me. And I haven't been home in 10 years, so it was nice to get home.
Is the city home for you?
Yes.
I am also from New York, but not the city. I am from upstate New York, up by just short of Buffalo. So I'm up in New York, but still baby New York.
It's New York. That's right.
Well, a fellow New Yorker. This is why I think we get along so well already.
That's right.
Now, you are the founder of Haunters Against Hate. How did you get involved with the haunt industry?
Interesting. When I moved to Indianapolis, I moved to Indianapolis for a little bit from Vegas, and I had attended a haunt in Indianapolis with some friends, and I was like, this isn't going to be that great. You know, I was used to haunts in LA, like Universal Horror Nights and Knott's Scary Farm, and went to this little haunt, and it scared the crap out of me. And I was so impressed by that, and I kept track of them, and they changed their name. And when they changed their name, I reached out to them and said, I'm a graphic designer. I work with Warner Brothers. I would love to redesign your logo if possible. And they were like, okay, we really don't have a budget, but if you're interested. And I was, and that was my introduction into the haunt industry. I ended up doing all their advertising and design and ended up scaring with them. And that was 10 years ago now, 11 years ago.
Okay.
So that was my introduction into the haunt industry.
It's like a bug, right? Once you kind of get into it just a little bit, you kind of get that bite, and you want to kind of, at least for me, you want to immerse yourself in it and those people, because there's a lot of really amazing people in that industry.
Oh, absolutely. And it is an adrenaline rush. I mean, once you scare a group of people, you get that rush that you have to continue scaring people, and you keep getting that rush. And it's like, okay, I accomplished scaring these 3 people. Now let's see if I can scare this group of 6 people, and so on and so on and so on.
And it's always the big ones that are all they walk through all macho, nothing's gonna scare me. And then when you get them, it's so satisfying, because you know that they're gonna be scared easier than the folk that's already the chicken in the back. You already know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the cool thing is, I became such good friends with the owners, and I'm still good friends with the owners, and they're big supporters. I came up with a concept for a section of the haunt that they actually built about real phobias.
Really?
We had one room with real snakes, another room with real spiders. So it was pretty intense. And see people, because now you're dealing with real fear.
Mm-hmm.
Not fake monsters and everything. I mean, I saw people freeze when they saw snakes. And this is a touch haunt. So I was underneath where you couldn't see me. So as people were walking out, we grabbed their legs.
I make them think it's the snake that's kind of gotten out to get them. That adds a whole other level to it when it's live animals. Because you don't expect it. You expect the fake ones, you expect the animatronics, but you don't expect real snakes or spiders or anything God, that had to be so fun to just kind of A, be a part of, and B, to kind of sit back and watch those reactions from people.
It was great. My favorite, though, and it played on my fear. My biggest fear is roaches. And when you first went in, we had a hallway that was very darkly lit, and it was very narrow. I put fake roaches on the walls, but every night before the haunt would open, I would sprinkle uncooked macaroni on the ground. So when you walked in, you would get that crunch, and you could hear people screaming from outside when they first stepped down and got that crunch. It was great.
That's so good. Oh my God. So, fun fact about my husband and I, we have denim vests that we wear, and typically we will have a fake cockroach in our vests, and my husband likes to give them out to random people, especially if he knows they have a phobia. So I'm gonna apologize in advance, because I'm sure we will cross paths in real life at some point or another, and he's probably going to give you a fake roach. So I'm gonna give you fair warning on that one.
Oh, great. Thank you. Something to look forward to. Ever so kind.
Yeah, we do what we can.
Thank you.
God, that's so. I can imagine people freaking out. There's lots of people coming in to say hi. Let's see who we've got. Angie says hello, that you're the best. Jason says hi. Jessica says you have lots of people chiming in to say hello, sir.
Oh, hello to all of them.
You're a popular one this evening. It's pretty awesome. But I like the.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I like the idea of the macaroni and the crunch in the fake roach room. I think that's so.
Thank you.
Easy, and oh my God, it's so good. It's so.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm not a fan of roaches either, so I understand that factor to it. But man, that's a whole other level of creepiness happening.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what was your favorite thing that you got to do when you were involved with the haunt?
I love coming up with creative advertising on it and stuff, and doing like these campaigns. I treated the advertising almost like it was a movie, like the haunt was a movie, and would do like 6 months out, like a teaser campaign, coming soon, or I did another campaign that did printed posters of different characters throughout the haunt and said, "Be on the lookout," and they hung them outside the haunt, almost
that's cool.
Character posters for a movie.
That's
and I really
cool.
enjoyed doing that, and that was a lot of fun.
That's pretty awesome.
I did love scaring, even though, I mean, people don't realize how much work scaring at a haunt is. It's exhausting.
It's a lot. It's a lot, man. Scaring's a lot. The makeup aspect alone is insane, between trying to pound out X amount of people in a short time span. And I had my one stint scare acting, and it was amazing, and I would absolutely do it again. But man, it was exhausting. I was in a room with a strobe, and that's a whole other level, to be able to handle a strobe light in a room for an extended amount of time, and all the noise and everything else. So I mean, I always give huge props to every and any scare actor, because man, it's a lot of work and folks don't realize it.
Right. And what I just said will parlay into eventually when we talk about Book of Haunters.
Yes. Which is coming up. Now, you founded Haunters Against Hate. So how and when was it founded?
Well, it was founded right after the Orlando Pulse massacre, which is almost 7 years now.
Yes.
Hard to believe, 7 years. And some hateful speech was made in the haunt industry about it. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to make the statement of what was said anymore. It's like...
don't give it life anymore.
No, it's not, because it's not worth it. It's let it die. But let's just say that caused the creation of Haunters Against Hate. And it was actually a group of haunts that created it and reached out to me to come up with the name and the logo and everything like that. And all they did was they just wanted to make a blanket statement on Facebook about it. And they did. They wrote a letter and blah, blah, blah. And they were going to let it go. And that's when I took it over and said, all right, I created this logo. I created this. I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with this. I'm going to take something that was born out of such hatred and turn it into something positive and create an organization out of it. And that's what I did. And it started with one T-shirt and one little website, and it's gone from there.
And so now it's become its own beast, really.
Well, as of last year now, or a year and a half now, it's officially a recognized 501c3 organization.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. That took a lot of work.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yes, it took a lot of work, but I was determined, and I've even gone international at this point. Last year I was invited to go to Germany And I,
Oh.
in Movie Park, Germany, in the Dusseldorf area, Essen area, invited me out because some of their haunters have been in the books, and I might as well. And
Let's
they
let's
went to
go ahead and talk about it because we're going right into the books afterwards. So let's
they
just.
went they went to their marketing department of the. It's an amusement park, and they have a Halloween horror festival like what Six Flags Universal does
Oh,
in
cool.
Germany, and it's the biggest horror event in Germany, in Europe actually.
Oh.
And they approached marketing about having a Hunters Against Hate event, and marketing liked the idea. They went to their head office, and the head office approved it. And they
Okay.
ended up having a Hunters Against Hate event in Germany, and they had me out, and they had an actual Haunters Against Hate parade with 280 haunters, every haunter, and every
Wow.
single haunter wore something rainbow colored on their outfits. It was
Oh my
the
god.
most surreal, incredible thing I've ever experienced in my life.
That kind of makes me want to like cry. I'm like tearing up over here. That's huge. That's
It was
amazing.
amazing, amazing, and in Germany. So it's
That's
international.
God. That had to have been surreal as all get out, man.
It was humbling to say the least.
Now you've mentioned a couple of times the Book of Haunters. What is the Book of Haunters?
The Book of Haunters was formed many years ago. I did a calendar. I did a Haunters Against Hate calendar.
Okay.
So it had, the 12 months and 2 pages. So I put it out there. I said, I'm taking submissions. I'll take 14 submissions for this calendar of haunters around the US if you want to be in. And I'll, like each month I'll have a haunter and why
Okay.
they support Haunters Against Hate. So I was expecting maybe 20 submissions. I ended up getting over 100 submissions for that calendar.
Wow.
So I created the calendar. I did it for 2 years. And I was like, I'm going to have to do something else. And that was the formation of the first book. I was like, I have to create something bigger
Right.
than a calendar. I want to recognize all these amazing, amazing haunters in the industry who put their heart and soul into what they do. And I wanted them to be recognized for what they do, because without them, there is no haunt industry. Yes, you have the owners. Yes, you have, the creators of it all. But without the actors, that there's nothing. So I
No.
wanted to give them a voice. I wanted them to realize that they're celebrities too. And I wanted them all to be recognized in books. So I started the Book of Haunters.
I can't imagine. First of all, I can't imagine the calendar and receiving that many submissions and having to narrow down which ones you're gonna put in, what months, and I mean, God, I can imagine that probably took you quite some time to do it, and then of course the next year rolled around, and you probably got. I'm assuming you got even more submissions for that too.
Yes. It was very difficult. It was very, very difficult to choose. Um, that's why I was like, I have to expand this. So I took, basically 14-page calendar or into an 80-page, 100-page book.
Wow.
And started with Book of Haunters, and as of today, up to volume 9 that just finished,
Wow.
published.
Wow.
Or I
So,
should say, there are 10 volumes because there's another volume exclusive that was a book of clowns.
ooh.
Yes.
Ooh. I do love some clowns. I know a lot
But
of
I,
folks.
I mean, I did like volume 9 is a sequel to volume 6. Both of those are exclusively dedicated to female haunters in the industry.
That's really awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for that. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Volume 6, the first volume of Female Haunters, was the biggest, fastest selling book out of the entire series. It sold out the fastest.
I don't doubt it. Not one. So that actually, I was going to ask you, how many copies do you print of the books? Are they? I'm assuming. I mean, they're limited run, obviously, but how many do
I'll
you
do a
typically
hundred
do?
at a time.
Okay.
So I'll do the first printing of 100, and after that goes, I'll do another printing. Then generally, I will stop after 200. And I'm looking into possibly doing like limited runs of each volume again, maybe like 50 of each, and so I can have each set with me when I go to these different conventions. Because people have asked, I'm in volume 2. I was never able to get volume 2. Do you have one? I'm like, no. but I can't just print one. It wouldn't be beneficial financially for me to do that. I have to
Right.
do, you know, a volume amount to get a good discount on that.
Right. Have you thought about, are you doing them on a pre-sale basis where if let's pretend I'm in volume 3 and I'm like, "Hey Paul, can you reprint volume 3? There's like 80 of us that want it. Would you do like a pre-order, or how do you usually do something like that?"
Yes. Yes, I would then do a pre-order, and
Okay.
but yes, that's generally actually how I will do the books.
Okay.
I will start them as a pre-order. Like volume 9 is up for pre-order. So
Okay.
by the time I start printing, there are like 75 orders in already. So it makes it easier for me.
That's pretty awesome. That's a lot to go. So I'm assuming too is you probably get tons and tons of submissions throughout the years. What's your process for narrowing down which ones make the current volume? So for example,
Well,
volume 9.
the key thing, and it it's tough, and I realize some people don't understand the process, especially with social media and with online and everything, is the key thing with printing and books and publishing is the images have to be high resolution.
Yeah.
They have to be high quality, because if you send me a low res 72 DPI image, that's fine for social media. It's not going to look good in a printed book. It's
Right.
going to come pixelated, and I don't want that, and I don't think the individual will want that either. You want to be represented well in a book. You want to,
Absolutely.
and I want the books to look the best they can be. So sometimes, I've had one haunter who's been trying to get into the book, and every time it's like low res, and I keep telling him, like, just get someone who has a camera, or get someone who has the newest iPhone to take a picture or something. We can work with that.
Yeah.
And send it to me. Don't send me. The key thing is, do not send me an image from Facebook. It will.
Yeah, because that it ruins that resolution to it, and then when you go to print them out, it's grainy and it doesn't look right, and it doesn't. To your
Right.
point, as you said, it doesn't do that particular actor any type of justice whatsoever.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and I just started taking submissions for the new volume, which is volume 10,
Ah.
which is haunters and their pets.
Now, okay, so I'm gonna throw you a monkey wrench. Is it real pets, or can it be like taxidermied pets?
Well, interesting you said that. You can either be in costume with your pet, you can have your pet in costume. And I did get a submission of someone with a taxidermy pet. And I was like, yeah, I have to use this. How can I not? So, and this stuffed cat that they keep in the haunt.
I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Now, if somebody did want to submit images of them to be in the book, where would they send it to? What is your process? How does it work?
Well, I continually make announcements on the Facebook page, send high resolution photos. They would send them to me at paul@hauntersagainst.hate.com.
Okay.
And then I will review the photo. If I like it, if I want to use it, what I do is then I tell them they're approved, and I send them a form that they fill out, photo release form, and then
Yeah.
questions like, why do you support Haunters Against Hate? What's the name of your pet? What kind of, that would be like, what kind of pet, what kind of dog, what kind of cat is it, blah, 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 how old, and stuff like that. So
I love that you're open to the taxidermied pets. That makes
and the wonderful thing about volume 10 is I reached out, and I've actually become friends with her through the years, and Linda Blair has agreed to write the introduction for volume 10
Ah.
because she owns a dog rescue
Oh,
in
yes.
California. And I told her part of the profits I make from volume 10 I will donate to her dog rescue.
Oh, that's
Because I think that's
awesome.
only the right thing to do,
No.
because one hand washes the other, and she's willing to help me write an introduction for the book. And then I also reached out to, and I think this is perfect for a pet book, Miko Hughes, who played Gage in the original Pet Cemetery.
It's so good. Oh.
Right, to write the other introduction.
Oh,
So,
yes. Absolutely, yes.
yeah.
Oh.
So I try and tie it in. Volume 9, the two introductions of Volume 9, the first one was written by Linnea Quigley.
Oh, love her. She's so
And the
sweet.
second introduction, and it's such a powerful introduction, was written by Judith O'Tay, who played Barbara in the original 1968 Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yes. So and what I love is the fact that these wonderful horror celebrities and whatever actors, actresses are so willing when I tell them about the mission of Hunters Against Hate and what it stands for, they are jump on board without hesitation. I had met Linnea Quigley at a convention last year, and I told her all about Hunters Against Hate. And then when I reached out about writing an introduction, without even any hesitation, she was like, "Absolutely, not even a question." So,
She's local to Florida. Did you know that?
no, that I didn't.
She is one of our own. She's actually a South Florida dweller.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yes, she's
But
a sweetheart.
I love her. I love her to pieces, and I am eternally grateful to her for what she did. So
That's pretty awesome.
Yep. So that's what the Book of Haunters is about. And as the books have gone on, I've expanded it to also include like behind the scenes people in the haunt industry, like makeup artists, even behind the scenes like security. I've included some of the owners now because I want to show that it's one big family as well.
That's awesome.
Yes. And you want to recognize everyone in the industry as well. It started off with the actors, and the actors still take up 80% of the books. But I like to have that 20% too now, where it's showing, here's these wonderful makeup artists who, you need them. Here are the people behind the scene, some of the security people, the front of the house people that we need. Here are the general managers. Here are a couple of the owners who, this is their vision as well.
Right.
So
that's so awesome. I love that. I love that you're incorporating everybody into the books so that everybody gets a chance to be a part of it.
I've included people in the haunt industry now, like who work in marketing and advertising, like companies not necessarily in the not a haunted house, but in the haunt industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're also involved in their own way with haunted houses. They're doing their advertising, they're doing their design stuff, and they're important as well.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you for that. That's fantastic. Now you were recently you mentioned your New York trip.
Yes.
Now, what was the reason for this New York trip? I know the reason, but I'm not sure everyone watching at home knows the reason. And this is some really, really cool to share. So, what was your New York trip for?
My volume 9, my Sisterhood of Haunters Returns, my Book of Haunters. The publishing company had a nationwide competition, and I submitted volume 9, and 40% of the score was based on votes, and 60% was based on a panel of judges.
Okay.
And if you won, you were flown to New York, and you were put on a digital billboard in Times Square for the entire week. And I won.
God.
And I was on a billboard for an entire week in New York City, and it was a digital billboard. It ran 15 seconds, 30 times an hour, every hour.
That has got to be the most surreal thing, to be standing in Times Square and looking over and just seeing you show up on that billboard.
It was crazy. It was an animated billboard and everything.
Really?
Yes, it was animated. It said like fans voted, judges voted, and then it was boom, my picture holding the book. Congrats, Paul Lanner and Hunters Against Hate.
Wow.
So it's thrilling, and for me, it's like that's great that I looked good in the picture. I was happy about that. It's more important that it brings recognition and people become more aware about Hunters Against Hate. That was the big thing for me.
Absolutely, and I think it's fantastic that you won. B, they flew you out there, and C, you were filtered on that billboard, because there's a lot of folks who probably weren't aware that Hunters Against Hate even existed. Yeah, so it's fantastic.
And New York City, I mean, it's pretty crazy.
I mean, that and your invitation to Germany. I don't know. How are you going to top that next? That bar is pretty high now, Paul.
I know, really. It's interesting though. While I was in New York, I got a message from someone from Scotland saying they wanted to talk to me about, how hunters can branch into Scotland and the UK.
I mean, yes would be the answer, and for the love of God, do it like tomorrow.
I was like, let me settle back from, the New York trip and like try and get my I still have my regular job that I've got to deal with too.
No, I gotta ask you, are you thinking, do you have any international haunters in your books currently, or are you thinking of doing an international version?
Oh, I do. In fact, that's how I ended up in Germany, because with volume 2, I received a submission from a haunt actor at Movie Park Germany, and said, I scare at this park in Germany, blah blah blah. And I was like, would you be willing to, I'm interested in being in your book. And I said, absolutely. And next thing I knew, I had 8 haunters from Germany in my book. And next thing I knew, I had 2 from the UK. I had 2 from Australia. So I've had haunters from around the world in my books now.
That's
And, interesting. Volume 9, I had an actress in the book, haunted actress from Canada. And I found out, and she is, well, the movie's so obscure, but she's in the movie Skinamarink.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like this cult horror movie that's making the rounds.
Okay.
I know. I'm like, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, that's pretty cool. And it's like, and she has her page in the book, not from Skinamarink, but her character from the haunt.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I definitely have gotten an international presence, mostly, ironically, and strangely, Germany. I have a huge following in Germany. So.
Well, I mean, you were saying they have like one of the bigger haunt events over there, at least Europe-wise, anyway. So I mean, that in that vein, it doesn't surprise me, but I'm still a little bit surprised. I mean, how you were over there and got to experience some of that. How different is it over there versus over here as far as like that haunters go?
It's not like it's a standalone haunt that you go to. This was literally an amusement park. So, like Universal, they have like their special haunts set up that you go through. Now, the interesting thing about Germany is, by law, each haunt has to be rated like 18 plus, 16 plus. So you have to be, if you want to go, say they had a hostel maze, it's 18 plus. You have to be 18 or over to get in it. And you have to show ID. There's security.
Really?
That's by law.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And other haunts were 16 plus. They have one, for younger, that's 12 plus.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And I was like, that's really interesting. I actually like that idea. So you can't have these parents saying, with their kids saying, I don't want to go, and the parents pulling them through.
Right. It's too scary for my kid, my 5-year-old, I'm going to drag them through anyway. It's kind of nice that they have put sort of a regulation on it in that respect. And it's surprising, I would say. I'm a bit surprised by it, but also it's almost refreshing, right? Because like I know here, I've never seen a haunt like rate themselves as being like 18 and up only, or 16 and up only, or what have you. So it's interesting that they do that over there.
Right. Yeah. Even the haunts here, even if they're like some of these extreme touch haunts, there's still no age limit. It's your choice if you want to go through it.
I didn't even think about that. The stuff that you don't think about, that obviously they well thought out that. So that's, wow. Okay, Germany, good for you guys. I mean, I kind of like that idea.
Yes. And they've invited me back this year. I'm going to try. I don't know if I will, but they said they've already, their head office, which is based in Spain. They have already approved another Haunters Against Hate event this year.
That's
which
awesome.
is great.
So that's That's really cool. Actually, I was going to ask, I was going to wait till later to ask you, but I might as well ask you now. You've done your own Haunters Against Hate events here in the States. Is that something
Yes.
that you're going to do again? Because I know you've done 2 of them so far.
This year I'm going to take a break. I'm going to step back, and I do want to bring it back next year. I want to. I don't know where I want to do it yet. I'm keeping an eye, possibly, and don't quote me on this. Nothing's concrete,
Okay.
but I'm eyeing Chicago, possibly,
Okay.
because I Chicago has a huge haunt scene, and I am friends with a lot of haunters and haunt owners in the Chicago area. I'm very close with a lot of people up there, and I think Hunters Against Hate, an event up there, would generate a lot of people coming to it and enjoying it, especially with the Hunters Against Hate awards and stuff like that.
So I was going to ask you, so for those like myself who have not been to a Hunters Against Hate event, what could someone expect from that type of event? And you're getting quite a few people that are happy with the Chicago teas. That
Really?
seem to be for it. Quite a few people actually. Chicago would be awesome. Don't tease us with Chicago. So there's definitely some love for Chicago there, sir. That might be a thing. I think I'm gonna write that down. You heard it here first, possibly, maybe.
The thing with the Hunters Against Hate event, it's not typical of your typical horror con or whatever, or haunt con, because my thing all along was always to make it like almost like a class family reunion type thing, where everyone feels welcome and comfortable, and like, oh my God, you're in this volume or this volume, people autographing their books like yearbooks and stuff like that. In fact, the first year I did it, I gave like everyone, if they were in a book, they had a special Book of Haunters lanyard with the color of the book that they were in.
That's a cool idea. I love that.
Yes. And the other big thing is the Haunters Against Hate Awards, where you get a Haunter of the Year. There's a Legacy Award. And then there's Jesse McDonald Memorial Award, which is given to a haunter that embodies like what Hunters Against Hate is about, caring about people and stuff like that. And last year, for example, it was very emotional, the award show, because the Haunter of the Year went to a 14-year-old who went through hell and back. And it had everyone in tears, because he gave a speech that floored everyone. Even I was crying on stage. And the Memorial Award went to a haunter who was a deputy sheriff in Louisville, who was ambushed and killed at the age of 27.
Jesus.
And his partner accepted the award, and that was very emotional. But that's what it's about to me. It's about an emotional connect, because that brings people closer together. And that's what Hunters Against Hate is all about, and that's what I want it to be about.
So what I'm hearing is bring all the tissues, because crying is probably going to happen, but also a lot of joy happens.
Yes, absolutely. And for 2023, even if I don't have an event this year, I already have the awards selected for 2023. So if there's not an event, there will still be awards that I will be giving. Alex Wode, I hope I said her last name correctly. She plays Sharky at Hell's Gate in Chicago. She's getting the Haunter of the Year. Legacy Award is going to Judith O'Day from Night of the Living Dead for writing that amazing introduction.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Tim Jacobus, who designed all the art for the original Goosebumps books, because he created 2 pieces of art for Hunters Against Hate for me to sell on t-shirts, which is amazing.
That's okay. First of all, congratulations to all of the award winners, and second of all, those are all fantastic.
Yes, and the Memorial Award doesn't necessarily go to someone who has passed away. It goes to someone who embodies what Hunters Against Hate is about, and that is going to Sven, who's based in Germany, and he was the first haunter from Germany who reached out to Hunters Against Hate.
That's awesome.
So he deserves that. Because of him, he expanded all that love for Hunters Against Hate into Germany.
Aww. Actually, so apparently, I'm a horrible hostess, so I totally forgot. So Judith O'Day is actually going to be down here in Florida in a couple of weeks on the 19th for a local convention, Spooky Empire. So
Really?
I'm gonna have to chat with her.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll have to send you a book. You can have her autograph it.
Ah, that would be very awesome. But
Hmm.
I forgot she was coming as a guest. My amazing assistant slash husband just reminded me in the chat that she was coming. That's awesome. But oh my goodness.
One of the most wonderful human beings you will ever meet in your life.
I'm very excited. I have not met her yet, and she's actually her and quite a few other of the cast from Night of the Living Dead are going to be at the show. And we've met, like I've met George Romero, and he was a lovely man. And Bill Heinzman, the number one zombie, is we refer to him here in Orlando as Uncle Bill because he went to like the very first Spooky Empire 20 years ago, and he went for years and years up until unfortunately his passing. So like that film has a very special place, at least in my household, for a number of reasons. So I'm very excited to get to meet Judith, and you have talked her up as such and have made me looking even more forward to meeting her.
She was one of the first people that I called when I found out I won the competition because she had written the introduction for the book. And she was so tickled by that. She was just so tickled. So, yeah,
Oh, I can
love
imagine.
I adore her to pieces.
Oh, I can imagine. That's that's really, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, I do have to ask. So you are, obviously are raising funds. What do you do with the funds that you do raise with Hunters Against Hate?
What the funds I raise, part of the funds, of course, come back to Hunters Against Hate, so that allows for the production of the books, bounds for the T-shirt production, be able to go to these haunt conventions, the expenses for that.
Yeah.
And also, what I do is I donate to LGBT organizations across the United States,
Awesome.
mostly the ones that focus on youth. So, like the last one I just donated to is here in Kentucky. It's called Camp Beacon, and it's the first camp, LGBT youth camp, that is starting in Kentucky this summer, exclusive for LGBT kids because
Oh,
it don't exist in this area. So I literally am sponsoring one kid for the entire summer to go to camp through Haunters Get Saved.
you know, you're such a good guy. It's like, man, there are a lot. Okay, listen, there are a lot of people in the world, and I have met a lot of people, but you are genuinely an amazing person.
I appreciate it. It's just trying to do some good in the world. That's all it is. The world is tough enough. It's like, if one kid could go to, summer camp for the entire summer and have a great time and feel welcome and feel like
Accepted.
part of it, right? That's what it's about. So,
Thank you.
of course, I
Thank you for that.
donated after everything that went on in both Florida and Texas. I donated to Orlando Youth Alliance,
Thank you.
and I also donated to it went Youth Outlook in Austin, Texas. So,
See, again, good, like genuinely good guy. And if folks at home, if you guys are interested in donating to Haunters Against Hate, check out their website. I did link it in the description. Go click on that. Go throw them some money. Clearly, amazing organization. I love that you built something. I don't want to say that was almost founded due to an awful thing, has become such a wonderful and inspiring organization. I love that you've kind of taken that and you've twisted that to be more positive and to do something good, because as you said, there's enough things in this world that are tough and that are difficult and bad. So thank you for bringing some good.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. That is my mission. I've discovered in life. You know,
It's a great
uh,
mission.
it is. It is. It's like, um, if I can help one kid, and I have stories, and maybe another time I'll tell you, and they will bring tears to your eyes. That messages I've gotten from younger kids saying how they felt welcomed because of me talking to them or coming up to my booth and stuff, and that's what it's about.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Which, actually, funny enough, that leads me into my next question that I have for you, which is, and I kind of already know the answer just based upon us talking, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Who or what inspires you personally?
Well, and this made me think, and I had to write this down, and it's true. It's like, lately it's just the resilience of the younger generation now and how they are standing up to all this misguided legislation going on and fighting against it and doing everything they can. I mean, look at what happened in Tennessee where 10,000 of them stormed the state capitol. I mean, that is integrity. That is showing their might. I mean, this is the future.
Oh, yeah.
And that's inspiring. I mean, you look at that and go, it's empowering. They're carrying on the legacy of, say, something like what happened in the 60s with the Stonewall riots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's energizing. It gives you life. It shows that people are still fighting and we're not going to stop.
Nope.
You just won't. It's like the fight will never end. And it's like, and if you think we're going to back down, we're not.
Nope, it ain't happening, unfortunately.
Not at all.
And here's the thing, at this point, we're a lot younger than some of those folks. So, you know, we're going to outlive some of you. Just saying.
This is my standard quote now. I wonder how some of these legislators sleep in their crypts at night.
I kind of love that.
Yes, that's my attitude.
I kind of love that. And I love that the youth is still so inspiring. And I love seeing them standing up for their beliefs and for themselves and for each other. It's huge. And I almost feel like, in a way, it almost felt lacking for a long time, if that makes sense. But now it's more prominent and more in your face and more very like, you can keep talking, but we're going to talk over you and we're going to silence you. And we're going to show you that we're not going anywhere and that it's okay to be who we are. So I love that there's still folks like that and we're not going to shut up.
That's right. And like you said, they're young. They will come up. They will be around after these people are gone.
Yes. So.
Mm-hmm.
Something to remember, boys and girls. Just saying.
That's right. You don't have to sleep in your crypts at night, but they do.
They do. We don't. I mean, we can, stonewall them in.
That's right.
Tuck them in comfy.
Not a problem. Close that coffin lid.
Let me nail that shut. Hold on a second.
Exactly.
No, do you have any events coming up that you're going to be attending or that people can find your booth at?
The next event I am attending will be Carolina Fear Fest in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's in May and Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Then in June I have Midwest Haunters Convention in Chicago. July is Texas Haunters Convention in the Dallas area.
Okay.
I have those three things coming up. I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm not thinking of right now, but those are three things that pop right into my head immediately.
I'm gonna say you're a busy individual.
Yes, and the other thing, and I promised them I would come visit, because I've been saying it for a while, and I couldn't last year because of Germany. I promised I will go to Fear Factory SLC, which is in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Because a lot of their haunters are in my books. I know the owners. I know the general manager who I'm good friends with. And I promise them I will come see them this year.
Well, it's time you get out there.
Yes. I told them I will spend like 5 days there or something. So
nice.
And I want to see the haunt. I've heard it's amazing. So.
Okay. Well, you'll have to let us know. I have not made it out that far yet. I think we're planning a couple out of state this year. We're still talking about it, but I know we're definitely going to go visit Georgia and see the folks at Netherworld and a couple of other places along the way.
I've never been to Netherworld. At some point, I've got to get to Netherworld.
We have not either, and they are like an 8-hour drive, so I honestly have no excuse other than poor planning on my end.
But now you have me wanting to come down to Spooky Empire to see Judith.
You should. It's an amazing week. It's actually the 19th of May, so it's coming up quickly. Very, very quickly. But yeah, you should come down. I think it'd be fun.
I may have to write. I should write that down. I think I will write that down.
Okay. I'll get you the info. I got a few questions coming in for you. Are you doing the bus tour for Midwest Haunters?
I think I am doing the Friday night tour to Old Joliet Prison. I'm not going to do the Thursday all day tour. Probably not.
Okay. Okay. I'm jealous. I'm gonna
That
live
that was.
through you.
Did someone ask that randomly?
Jason Olson in the chat is asking.
Yeah, the old Julia prison one on Friday.
Okay. Very cool. See, I gotta get out there too and do all the things. I did Transworld this year. Next year, my goal is Midwest Haunters and then Transworld again.
The week before Midwest Haunters, I know I'm going to say, I always say there's Eloise or whatever.
Eloise?
Eloise Asylum, the Detroit area. I'm going to be there for one evening. They're doing a special event and they are having me out there for that. So I'm going to drive up to Detroit area, and then after that night, I'm going to drive over to Chicago and spend the week in Chicago.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah, before Midwest.
Oh, you're going to have a busy week.
It will be. It will be very busy.
Do you have time to sleep ever?
Yes, believe it or not.
I had to ask because listen, I'm the same way. My husband and I, we go constantly. So I like to ask people that are like-minded if they sleep at all either.
It's like, oh, look, it's 10 p.m. Time for the Golden Girls. Good night.
Now, for folks that want to support Haunters Against Hate, what is the best way to do so?
The best way is go to the website, hauntersagainst-hate.com. On the main page, there's a little thing that they could click on to make a tax-deductible donation. That'll take them right to the Square site. Nice. Or if they want to become a member, they can become a member, as you are. And that's $150 for the year. And you get a certificate, you get 5 embroidered patches, you get your logo. You get your logo on the website, which links to your website, and you get the HAH logo to put on your social media as well. And I can give you, it's tinyurl.com/HAH membership.
Okay.
So.
Awesome. Yes, I'll send that to me and I'll link that below. So for those of you watching on YouTube, I'll have that below in the description box. So if you go back and click for the replay, which will be up tomorrow, you'll be able to click on that link and that'll take you right to membership if you're interested in doing that, which I highly suggest you do.
Of course, going to the store if you want to buy a t-shirt or anything like that. There's patches, t-shirts.
Like the t-shirt you're wearing?
Yes, like the t-shirt. This has become the biggest selling t-shirt in the history of Haunters Against Hate in the 7 years.
I love that shirt.
Thank you. Yes, it's been even I wore this in New York and I had people stopping me in the airport and everything asking about it. It's amazing. So yeah, pretty cool.
So how did that design come about? Because is beautiful.
I just playing around in my head, playing on the computer one day, and I always try to do something with a skull, and then I just started playing, and I was like, next thing I know, I had mascara, and I had the eye, and then I'm like, let's do some rainbow colors coming down one of the other eye. Let's add some lipstick, and then boom, and I was like, drag is not a crime.
It's perfect, and it's definitely a wonderful statement that I think people need to be reminded of.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it comes in multiple colors.
Even better.
Red, you can want a turquoise, you can have purple, green.
Ooh.
Needless to say, black has been the biggest, but...
I mean, that's predominantly my wardrobe. It's very rare that you see me in not a black shirt. Very rare. So I understand why.
I understand completely. I do.
I love it.
Those are the biggest ways, like I said, just go to the website.
Okay. So, and that website is hauntersagainst-hate.com.
Yes, exactly.
So head on over there, check out merch, buy all the things, donate some cash. And it doesn't, okay, so for your donations that you're taking, do you have a set dollar amount or can it be any dollar amount?
It could be whatever you want. There, you can click on a specific or you can enter whatever you want.
Perfect. So see...
whatever you desire, and it is tax deductible because Haunters Against Hate is an official 501c3.
Nice. So see, you can take your cup of coffee from Starbucks, and instead of getting it tomorrow, you can donate that to Hunters Against Hate, which is much better than giving it to a soulless corporation. I'm just saying I drink coffee from Starbucks all the time, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I'm thrilled. I mean, I'm really thrilled, and I was touched that you became a member too. I mean, thank you. I can never thank you enough for that.
Oh, absolutely. I am very happy to. I'm thrilled to share all the things for you guys. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I love our community, both Hunters and LGBTQ plus. Everyone honestly has a very special place in my heart, and I have Hunters that are near and dear to me, and folks that are in the community, including myself, that are near and dear to me. So it's definitely something that I'm a huge advocate for. And folks that have watched this channel, you all know how I am, and if you don't like it, leave.
That's great. Good for you.
That's about it. So I've got a couple more questions I have to ask you, and these are kind of my getting to know you questions, because I know I feel like I know you because you're amazing. But these two questions are kind of like my see where you're at on the spectrum of a couple of different things. So first I'm going to ask you one of two questions. The first one being is, what is your favorite scary movie?
Rosemary's Baby.
Really?
Really?
I love that.
Yes.
I've not seen that in forever.
That is my all-time favorite horror movie. The original from 1968.
I was going to say, okay, so I have to ask, out of all of the films, why Rosemary's Baby?
I think it's brilliantly directed. I think it's brilliantly acted. I think the paranoid it is so filled with paranoia and terror, and you don't know it keeps you guessing. Is she going crazy? Is it her pregnancy that's making her crazy?
Right.
Are these people really witches? Are they not witches? And the sense of abject fear is palpable through the whole thing. It's like you don't know how to feel, and you're just getting more and more tense throughout the whole thing.
It's a lot.
Without seeing anything. It's just brilliant. And Ruth Gordon, who plays the old neighbor, Mrs. Casterbeth, I mean, that's an amazing, well, she won the Academy Award for it. It's she's tattooed on me, actually.
That's awesome.
It's just incredible, and it's my favorite horror movie. And then to find out, ultimately, that, well, I don't want to say anything else if people have not seen the film. But
if you've not seen Rosemary's Baby at this point, first of all, shame. Because that film has been out for well over, God, all right, let's see,
50 some odd years?
Yeah.
60,
You've had, okay, so go ahead and say it, because if you haven't seen it yet, first of all, shame on you. You've had like 40-something years to watch this movie. That's all I'm going to say. But I understand what you're saying. It's a great film. It's definitely a classic in its own right. And
yes.
And again, I fully encourage folks to watch it. And I know there are some people who aren't big fans of the older generation that like those types of films. I think that most people would be surprised.
Well, if you want to pick a current horror movie, then that I really love, that just came out last year, or was it? Last year. Barbarian.
I've not seen that yet.
That surprised me.
I slept on. I haven't seen that one yet. It's in my queue. I need to watch it, but I've heard amazing things about it.
The less you know about that film, the better off. Or you look at something like Hereditary.
Oh, okay.
That's these very divisive films. I mean, films like Hereditary, The Witch, It Follows. So yeah.
Horror's definitely undergone this interesting evolution over the years.
Yes.
And I mean, listen, I'm all for some remakes, and I love an original idea as far as the horror films go, but I still love my classic horror films like Rosemary's Baby, or hell, the original Night of the Living Dead. I'm even gonna throw Dawn in there because that is still one of my favorite movies. Like, that was the first horror movie I ever saw, and it's my absolute favorite. So those I think are are very different, and the pacing is definitely very different, but I think they also tend to have a bigger payoff.
Yes, I got to work on the design and work on the packaging for the 50th anniversary release of the original Suspiria.
Shut up. Did you
Yes,
really?
I did. In fact, that's another tattoo on me, Suspiria.
Look at
So,
that flex. I
yeah.
don't even that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I worked on Suspiria, I've worked on Tenebrae, and I've worked on Phenomena. So,
So are you an Argento fan?
some.
I can listen. I can understand because I enjoy some, but it's definitely a very interesting watch. His films
I
are.
love Suspiria.
Oh,
Love
Suspiria's
Suspiria,
great. Opera too.
which I've not seen.
Oh, that it's good. It's
But
got some.
Phenomena's crazy. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. It's yeah, yeah. It's a little yeah.
Yeah, you have what? Monkeys with straight razors and bugs and
It's a little out there on some things.
yeah,
And if you like that kind of horror, then definitely
tune on in.
jump on that train.
That's right.
All right, so now Rosemary's Baby. You know what? I don't, in as many shows as I've done, and this is our third season, I've not had someone say Rosemary's Baby. So you are the first who's actually chosen Rosemary's Baby as their favorite horror film.
Yep.
That's
See?
that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So you said it was obscure, so I was like, I'm sitting here going, what is it? What? And I'm trying to think, and then you busted out with that one, and I was like, it's not as obscure as I was thinking.
Not obscure, but it's not something you would think people would say.
It's not, which is why I love that. So thank you for throwing Rosemary's Baby into the mix.
Absolutely.
All right, so now my last question for the evening is, what is your favorite Halloween candy?
Kit Kats.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Now how...
I love Kit Kats.
Kit Kats are
The
good.
other option is Twix.
Twix is usually my go-to. Well, okay. Twix is a big go-to if we're buying like the bulk candy for the kids. I usually go through and pick a few of them out because, I mean, why not? But I have to ask this question because I also ask a follow-up to this to everybody. What are your feelings on candy corn?
Mm-mm. No, 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 no,
Really?
no, no. Mm-mm. It's like eating wax. No, I'm good.
Okay, listen.
Let's talk about crumble cookies instead.
Okay, crumble cookies are amazing. They're fantastic. However, I feel like candy corn is either you love it or you hate it. And I'm sorry to tell you that you're wrong. Because I am the...
Where do I disconnect?
I am a giant fan of candy corn. I know many people in my life hate it, which I guess means more for me. I understand the dislike, but you're all wrong.
I guess it could be worse. It could be circus peanuts or black licorice.
No, black licorice is gross. That's also why I am not a Jaeger fan. Just throwing that out there right now.
Hysterical.
It's so bad.
Oh, good. You enjoy that candy corn.
I'm gonna. You know what? That's more for me then.
Yes, absolutely. But I also like very bitter dark chocolate.
I do too, though.
So
I do too. So, all right. Do you have a favorite non-chocolate candy? I have some folks in the chat asking.
non-chocolate.
Oh my God, black. Okay, so we have someone in the chat who likes black licorice.
Blah.
This is gross.
I'm actually not a huge candy eater. I'm more like cookies and cakes and stuff like that.
Crumbles, listen, let's go back to crumbles real quick. They're amazing if you've not had crumble cookies. And just so you know, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they have an app.
Oh, yeah, believe me, it's on my phone.
There's one like 20, like not even like 15 minutes from the house. And my husband's like, what flavor they got this week? I'm like,
This week they have strawberry cupcake. They have.
if I'm gonna put this out there right now, if you've not had crumble cookies, you're missing out, people. They are some delicious, delicious, delicious cookies.
Yes, they are.
And they are soft and lovely. And have you had now have you been down to Florida recently?
No,
okay.
It's been a while.
If you decide to come, should you decide to visit our horrific state, I am going to. Do you like a soft cookie?
Uh-huh.
Like a soft gooey cookie?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so there's a cookie place called Gideon's. They have a location in Disney Springs, which is always busy, but they also have a location that's over in Winter Park. And their cookies are, in my opinion, better than crumble.
Well, let me book that flight on American. Right?
That's all it took was cookie talk. That's it. I'm changing the show from now on. We're just going to come on and talk about food because...
That's right, exactly.
And cookies. Well, thank you so much.
Food happens with the dead girl. Right?
Yes. I have a story to tell you when we go off air about that. It's going to tickle you, I promise. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Again, folks, if you want to donate or become a member, HauntersAgainstHate.com. They've got some awesome merchandise from patches to stickers to amazing t-shirts like the one that Paul is wearing presently. You can pick that up. They will ship it to you. Are you still doing pre-orders for the book?
You can get volume 9. It's not pre-order. You can actually buy volume 9.
Wonderful. So go buy the Book of Haunters, get it on that. And again, thank you so much for watching. Don't go away just yet. Just to kind of give the chat a heads up, we're going to kind of show you guys what's going on for next week. So let's dive into that real quick. So next week we have Tim Anderson on. Now, Tim is the programming and coordinator for the Enzian Theater and the Florida Film Festival. He is actually heading up Freaky Fridays. We're going to talk a little bit about that and some of the freaky films that he's got planned for us. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this, especially if you like to get weird. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep it spooky. Bye.